Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Pint Live. It's the end of the season. It's the one I've been looking forward to the most, actually, because this has been absolutely atrocious in terms of a season. But welcome to Friday Night Pint Live. It's me, Dan, and Ryan in the house tonight. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all.
I'm better now the season's over. Hey. What? I said better now the season's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Better now the season's over. But tonight on Friday Night Pint Live, we'll be rating our season. We'll be rating a couple of things throughout the season: the best wins, the worst losses, the best signings, the worst signings, and things like that. We've made a signing, apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano. So Daniel Cummins has come, and apparently Frank McAviney's not very happy in terms of the Celtic part of it because he thinks that they should have been keeping hold of him. Jonathan David could be coming to the London Stadium, but apparently he's very, very impressed with Graham Potter's future plans. We'll be discussing Paquetá and Kudus. Could they be leaving? Very muted celebrations by both at the end of the season. And an old friend has popped up again, and we will be discussing that. Jesse Lingard apparently was forced into a move to Nottingham Forest. So we'll be talking about that. Boys, are we happy that the season's over?
Yeah, mate. I wanted it over in December, to be honest. It's been a terrible season, one of the worst I can remember. I mean, you got Tottenham winning a cup, Chelsea winning the Conference League, got Palace winning the FA Cup. We finish above Spurs, and yet they have a much better season as Champions League football and a trophy. You know, but on our own personal point of view, it's been a terrible season. Like 2 managers, 3 managers within the space of a year. Obviously, unsettles the dressing room. It just hasn't been great, hasn't been entertaining, not been a joy to watch, not been a joy to go for the people that go. I know that have said, because obviously I don't really go anymore. So, yeah, terrible season, but we stayed up, 15 points clear. We moved up to the dizzy heights of 14th on the last day of the season.
Mate, if this ain't been the word, I mean, in terms of our personal, I've been there during some of the shit, but I think that we'll be rating this in a minute, of course, but I think because of what we all expected, and we was quite impressed with the summer signings to what we got in the end, it was very underwhelming. But in terms of like the Premier League season itself, I mean, Liverpool winning the league, that come out of nowhere. Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup, come out of nowhere. Tottenham winning the Champions, not the Champions League, they didn't win that at all. The Europa League.
Newcastle winning the League Cup.
Newcastle winning the League Cup, of course, and then Palace winning the FA Cup. This has been one of the craziest. I mean, this has been one of the most exciting seasons for the neutral fan.
Yeah, if you take away your own team, like West Ham, the title challenge has been non-existent. It's been pretty much Liverpool the whole way. But in terms of getting to see different teams in and around competing, even for European spots, like, Forest were up there potentially getting a Champions League. Bournemouth were competing for European spots, drops off at the end. Them situations. I mean, the bottom 3, that's been pretty much decided, so that's been boring. But the European spots and the cups, I think, have been the most interesting. Apart from that, title race, relegation, it's been pretty dull.
Agree, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I think the Forest, I know it was disappointing that they didn't reach the Champions League, but if you'd have offered a Forest fan that chance at the beginning of the season to go into that last home game with a glimmer of hope of getting Champions League football, I'm sure they would have taken it. But I think they went from going into the Champions League to now they've dropped into the Conference League. But we're not going to knock the Conference League. It just makes me laugh when Chelsea went out the other day. Their fans were celebrating, their players were celebrating. When we won it, it was a Mickey Mouse trophy. Now that Chelsea have won it, Sky Sports are talking about it and making it a big competition now. But yeah, it's Brighton, I think, another team that done well this season. I mean, when you go back to the beginning of the season, we done our little prediction thing for Brian's video. I think we was all optimistic. We was all buzzing. I think we all said we was going to finish probably 8th and above. We see the signings coming in. And yeah, it just went downhill, and it was a really, really bad season. We've had worse seasons because we've already been relegated. But I remember being in them relegation seasons and enjoying it more. That's the strange thing.
Well, yeah, because every game there feels jeopardy in, right? And so when you actually win and pick up points when you're in a relegation battle, you feel so much more happy about it because it's key points that keep you up. Them games like say Ipswich last days or Man United or something like that, those wins would feel so much bigger if we didn't have to, if we were worrying about relegation. It's just at the moment, it's just 3 points.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the Chelsea thing. Well, it's not just Chelsea as well. I remember when we was in the Europa League semi-final against Frankfurt. I remember Tottenham fans telling me, that's a Mickey Mouse trophy, that one. And, you've got to be in the Champions League and all that sort of thing. And I was like, mate, I said, well, like, we've come from nowhere. And I've been working all this week, right outside the stadium. You'd think they'd won the fucking World Cup. Honestly, mate, it's fucking emblazoned everywhere, and there's a model of a trophy there, and the flags are all out in the streets and all that. It's a Mickey Mouse trophy until you win it.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not taking nothing away from their fans, from Chelsea fans or nothing. I let them enjoy it because I know what that moment feels like. I experienced it a couple of years ago, and whether it's the Champions League, the Europa League, or the Conference, to go and win a trophy abroad. I mean, we obviously went one better and done it unbeaten, which is you didn't see them two doing it. So, but yeah, no, look, it's a great experience, and look, it's been a long time for Tottenham, 17 years. Chelsea are obviously rebuilding. Got a good young team now. They've obviously just gone out and signed Delap from Ipswich. Great signing for them. Within the next 2 seasons, Chelsea will be challenging back at the top, without a doubt. You can see what they're trying to build there. Good young team. But, yeah, I mean, for us, yeah, just disappointing, mate, all round. Like, there's not even no positive. The only positive I can probably take out of the season is Wan-Bissaka and Bowen. They're the only 2 players that really stand out for me.
I had this fucking debate with this guy on Twitter, right? And I think he does he's done his badges or something like that, nice guy and that. But he was not having Wan-Bissaka. He said he's crap and all this, that, and the other, and basically sitting there and he can't defend, he don't defend. And it's so funny because the Man United fans, when we was getting him, said he can't attack, he can only defend.
Yeah,
he's a defensive. Yep. And then he's come to us. He's been great going forward, but I think he's one of our better defensive players.
Just look at some of his recovery tackles this season. He's one of the best in the Premier League. So I don't know what that bloke was on about. He was talking to me.
People say he gets caught out of position. The thing is, he's playing as a wing back. He's asked to play much higher up the pitch. So he's going to have situations where, maybe there's a ball over the top or something, and we're getting caught out. The problem is Mavropanos usually isn't there to make up for it. So he's forward, Wan-Bissaka's forward, Alvarez is forward, and somehow people are blaming that on Wan-Bissaka. I think I can't understand how people cannot rate him. I really don't. It's weird to me. I think I think he's changing allegiance now, but I think he could have been in line for an England call-up when you think about the right backs. Yeah, he's gone Congo, isn't he? I think
he's gone Congo now, yeah.
To play for Congo.
Yeah, but I think he should have been in line for an England call-up when you think and this is no knock to Kyle Walker. I think Kyle Walker is a legendary England defender. I think he's been one of our best right backs for years, but he's not.
He's past it. He's past it.
Yeah, and that's why he left the Premier League. He's passed where he's at his top standards. But when you look at the England squad and you're looking at the likes of fucking Jordan Henderson and people like that getting in, you've got to start questioning what the fuck is Tuchel doing, because he's left Jared Bowen out. Jared Bowen, for all intents and purposes, is just
the old Bowen thing with England is like, I think people went a bit over the top with it. I think they get a little bit, because it's a West Ham player. What Tuchel's doing, like from what I've heard in his interviews, is that he's obviously got a lot of players that he needs to see. He hasn't had many squads. So he's going to leave players out. He knows that are trusted. He's going to try new ones in this one. You'll probably see Bowen back in the next England squad.
Yeah, but I find it funny that it is Bowen. There's no other, if you look at the crazy names, right, that have been left out that have played for England before, he's not leaving out Saka and there's no where he can say we know what Saka can do. If he's doing it, he can say we know Saka's the bollocks. We'll leave him out. Do you know what I mean? We know Kane's the bollocks. We'll leave him out. We're gonna because we know what they can do. Let's have a look at, and that's the problem. And he chose Madueke, who we've seen him. He's just a pace merchant. I watched him in the final in the Conference League. The geezer's rubbish. So this is what I'm happy on a selfish standpoint that Bowen, can have the summer off now. He's fucking carried us.
I did say that as well. I said because obviously we've done a night with him, but we've done a night with Dean Ashton, and we lost Dean Ashton. Probably would have been one of the best English centre forwards in the Premier League, in my opinion, if he'd have carried on playing. He wouldn't have been playing for us for very long, but I think we lost and that was for England. So, when you look at someone so important for us, like Ashton was, probably not as important Ashton then, because we did have a couple of backup strikers and we ain't got fucking no one now. But, when I look at that, I think, he's getting married. I think he's getting married tomorrow. So congratulations. Is that right? Brian's getting married tomorrow?
Yeah, his wedding's tomorrow, so it's probably done him a favour, to be fair.
Probably done him a favour, yeah. But when you look at that, and I think to myself, thank fuck, and that's from a selfish standpoint. I want to see, I think England playing for England is the biggest honour that you can have.
I was talking about this today, in work, because obviously Man United have played 2 games this week, and I said, they've had a long season. They've had the Europa League campaign, the final. Now they've been flown out to Hong Kong, wherever they've gone. 2 games. These players don't get no rest. They've got to be back in training in 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
This is why players are so fucking tired halfway through a season.
When you
look lethargic and they
all for that, they got 10 million for it. And the thing is, I think it done more damage to their fan base over there because they was getting booed off. And I think people in Malaysia were like,
"These are shit.
What am I doing?"
Yeah,
I'll go to Man
City. But
I mean, England have got 2 games obviously next week, and then you've got this Club World Cup thing happening, and then it's bang. Before you know it, the Premier League season's back. West Ham got a pre-season tour to America. It's just sometimes you do. I know everyone says, "Oh, but they earn a lot of money," but sometimes you do feel a bit sorry for them. These players get dragged around all for a bit of money.
They halfway through the season, right, and then they're calling for winter breaks. And, this is the thing that winds me out. We've got to take them on a winter break and all this. It's too much football and all that. They've just lost the Europa League, final. Yeah, and they've took them out to Malaysia for 2 games, and I'm thinking to myself, let them rest. You're the ones that are going to be fucking moaning about it come Christmas time that they've played too many games. There's too much football going on. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? The money aspect of it is it's going to kill the game.
Yeah. They whinge at the Premier League, FIFA, UEFA, didn't they? You're giving us too many games, but they don't have a go at their owners who sign them up for all these fucking tours and all of this shit that make a little bit of money. Then that's the problem. That after this, that's the last thing they need is to go to bloody Asia.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're not doing something like that.
If Man United, if they haven't had a bigger kick up the bollocks than that, is that they've got to pay Adidas £10 million a year now until they get back in the Champions League as part of their deal.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, that's what Adidas had in their contract. If they're not in the Champions League, they got to pay them £10 million back. So every year they're not back in it now.
There would have been 1 game away from not being able to do that.
That game's been even more costly to it.
Yeah.
Absolute mess. So, but this is it. With Bowen, like I said, he can go rest, recover. Like I said, he's back certain from carrying us all season. I just find it frustrating because with him, with that World Cup coming up, I think he's happy at West Ham, but he's gonna want to get in that side for the World Cup. He's gonna want to be a part of that. And if Tuchel is going to overlook him despite the numbers he's putting out and pick the likes of Madueke because he plays for Chelsea, then that could affect him, and he might think maybe I have to move to be in these plans.
Yeah,
that's the worry.
Let's go on to rating our season then. All right, so what was your best win of the season? And I'm sure we'll get into these in more detail in a video when we all meet up. But what was your best win?
Best win?
Yeah. Arsenal. For me, it felt so after them doing us fucking twice with the 6-0 and was it 6-2 or the other one was 5-2. For us to beat them and really put a nail in their title hopes again, that was so satisfying. But the performance, it was one of the hardest working 90 minutes I've seen from these teams. Off the ball, on the ball, from start to finish. It was a satisfying win, but it was a great performance, and performance I come away proud of, and I can't say that too often this season. So that one stands out above all for me.
Yeah, I think, I agree. I think the Arsenal one was a bit of a shock result. We weren't expecting it. We was all expecting a good hiding now. And the way we went there and sort of controlled the game, because we've done it the season before, we went there, great defensive display. And, it was, you got that iconic image of Bowen scoring that diving header with Rice because he ducked. And it's just, it's all that. But yeah, I'd say that. And probably, I don't know, Ipswich at home. Lopetegui's, was that his first win at home?
Yeah, we scored 4. It was
yeah,
the only time we've smashed someone.
I think we score after about 30 seconds in that game as well. We went 1-0 up really quick.
We went really early. My favourite one this season, I think, for performance-wise, although I was impressed by the Arsenal performance, but it wasn't one of them ones where we was rip-roaring. We could have beaten them by more, obviously, because they got a red card and he was from goal. My favourite performance of the season, my favourite win of the season, was Newcastle away. I thought that was a great performance, and that came out of nowhere.
I think we rode our luck at times in that game, and then you do have to in most games. You have moments, but I think that game more than
had gone. I think we was in control.
Well, the thing is, I remember that game because it was all built as the Isak's game, wasn't it? They all had these big banners out for him, and Sky Sports were talking about him non-stop for an hour. Yeah. And they was all expecting a Newcastle win. But it was a great sort of away win performance. But I mean, look, without one performance, I wish I could say we won because I thought we deserved it. Was Brighton away, but a crazy 5 minutes and we end up losing it.
Oh,
and that just sums up our season.
Yeah, that was my worst defeat of the season. That's the most angry I've been after a result in a long time. I was livid. I was like Dom after Astragugu.
You look at the comment on the screen. Was you crying?
Tony Angelino.
You look at some of the near results. We got Everton away. Conceding that last 94th minute goal.
I thought that was a really good performance.
Yeah, we did. We went there. It was all obviously built around the David Moyes game, and we went there and we was winning, and then fucking threw it away. Liverpool away. I thought we played really well. Especially in the second half, not so much first half, and then we lost it to that Van Dijk header where we deserved the point.
Yeah.
There's been so many, like Crystal Palace away at the beginning of the season, we won there, didn't we? So it's mixed results, but I'll go for the Arsenal one because it shocked, I think, everyone. I think especially Arsenal.
I think it was just our best all-round performance overall, like from 90 minutes.
I think in terms of where they were as well in the league, I think you might be right there. I think what's your worst?
Yeah, Brighton. Like I said, because we should have wanted to throw it away so late into the game. We're winning 2-1, and then to succeed 2 goals, which is just shit. Literally, we just shit ourselves. And as Fulkrug, this is the game where Fulkrug come out and summed it up. So many players just wanted to sit back and defend, while others want to keep going. And this is the thing, if you've got the ball, the other team can't score. But we was happy to just give up the ball and invite them on, and it just exemplified everything that was wrong with this team. And I'm still annoyed about it because we win that game. A win then it would have been huge for us at the time and pushing up the table. But I honestly, I was absolutely livid. So that one worse for me by a long time. My
one was Spurs away. When you go on to think how fucking bad they were in the it's finished 17th for fuck's sake. I know they won that cup and they would have been concentrating on that cup, but that Spurs away with the one where Kuda started slapping everyone in the mouth as they come over, like that team, wouldn't it? But losing 4-1 to them.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here and probably pick 36 games to be honest, but
yeah, you're right, mate.
I remember, I think one of the worst games I watched probably Leicester away, Nistelrooy's first game when they beat us 3-0 or was it 3-1?
3-1.
Fucking Arsenal at home was a mental game, 5-2. Chelsea at home when they battered us, when they ripped us apart. Forest away. There's so many games. Like,
what's the one you'd say is your worst though? Like the one that you think just pissed you off the most, or was
I'll probably have to agree with you with the Brighton game because it was just like it's. I don't really get frustrated that much And that one really frustrated me because it was just the way we just collapsed.
Yeah.
And it's the way that we just lost it in the last 5 minutes. And that game sort of just summed up our whole season. So I'd have to go Brighton. Yeah, Brighton.
Spurs is a good shout though, because to get smashed, like, what was it, 4-0 or 4-1? Like, it was just shameful. Now, you know what? I remember that was the one game where I was actually like in the first half, like, oh, Rodriguez is actually playing really well, like at the start, and it just went to shit. And like to see the season that they've gone on to have, like in hindsight, trophy aside, but in the league, it just makes it even worse. 22 defeats. We was one of their few victories.
I think we can all agree. We'll take some comments after this one. We can all agree that Wan-Bissaka's obviously the bright spark of the season. Obviously, Hammer of the Year. Well-deserved Hammer of the Year, everyone?
Yeah. As I said, him or Bowen.
Yeah. Some people think it's a travesty that Bowen didn't win and he won over Bowen. The thing is, I think we have to remember, Bowen has been brilliant, but he was injured for quite a while. Had Bowen stayed fit, maybe, he would have edged it. But I just think Wan-Bissaka's been our most consistent performer.
I think when you Wan-Bissaka's going to see this as well. When you put yourself into a Bowen's standard last year was top. He got 20 goals in the league, and this season he only got 5. And I think them sort of things do affect you. But I personally think he stood out amongst everyone. I think Bowen's one of them victims of his own success, because you always expect Bowen to fucking be, putting in the effort.
Bowen really came alive towards the end of the season, I think, for a lot of the time. And I think that's why maybe it colours a lot of people's judgment to say, oh, it's an outrage he didn't get player of the season. Like, he's a very, very close second. But to me, Wan-Bissaka over the season was the most consistent player. Like, there's games where he was shit, but I could say he was good.
Right, this is a good one. I'll go with Ryan first. Ryan, who was the most disappointing signing of the season?
Signing?
Yeah, well, player. Let's go player, yeah. Disappointing. Who was you most disappointed in this year?
Paquetá. Geezer had no assists. No assists all season.
That's crazy, isn't it?
2 goals, 3 goals. I know he's had a lot going on, but he still played a lot of football. I think, someone said there, Kudus, I think, was a bit of a letdown. He didn't really turn up this season. I don't know what's wrong with him. Who else is there?
Well, Kudus is mine, because how good he was last season, I expected him to kick on and improve and get better. Now, obviously, Lopetegui seemed to just want to put him on the left wing, which didn't really favour him, and I made a lot of excuses for him there. But when he moved in the middle or on the right, we didn't see a massive improvement in his performances. And I think he got 3 goals or 4 goals or something. Like, his output has been really poor, and I just look at him and he's another one where what pissed me off is he seemed to turn up in the big games. He seemed to perform in the Arsenal.
The problem with players like Kudus and Paquet, when it's not going their way, they're no use to you. They're no use to you. But when it's all on top and everyone's happy and we're winning games, they love it. You see it last season when them two were just the way they was linking up. This season, there's just been so much gap in that team. Like, there's been no. We know there's been nothing in the middle all season, really. Rodriguez, someone said, I didn't see that. To be honest, when we let Ward-Prowse go at the beginning of the season and we let Downs go, I didn't see no upgrade with what we brought in. And I think if you're letting players go, you need to bring in upgrades. And they're not. Soler, I think, Soler had spells. There was parts where I looked at Soler and I thought, fucking hell, he actually looks a decent player.
Yeah.
And I think he checked out when he realised he was never really going to get a chance to be consistent. And then he was played sometimes he was played in the midfield, sometimes he was put on the left wing. He was moved all over the shop. He deserves criticism.
When you think what we had towards the end of the season as well in midfield, we had quite a few midfielders. We had Soler, we had Souček, we had Rodriguez, we had Alvarez, we had Ward-Prowse. That's 5 midfielders fitting into 2 spaces. We can add Paquetá in there as well.
And you have all them midfielders, and we have literally one of the worst midfields in the Premier League.
They're not up to the standard of what we need at the football club.
Yeah,
they don't work together. Like, when you go back a few seasons ago, people used to slate Mark Noble, but at least like he used to put tackles in. At least he used to like get involved. These players don't go missing. I don't see any of them midfielders coming off that pitch with mud on their shorts. They don't want to slide anymore. They don't want to get stuck in.
I'm going to withdraw Souček from that because I think Souček has always been Souček.
Yeah, Souček has been important this season because without players like Souček and Bowen, we probably would have got relegated.
Yeah, Souček pops up with the goals, and I think his goals have been key. The problem is when we're building out a midfield, him as part of a midfield isn't doing enough in the midfield for us to have a good, solid midfield. That's the problem. Our midfield's a weakness. He's a good player for Souček in terms of putting out numbers and getting goals. Give us 10 goals a season. Yeah. But when you build a midfield, you don't feel confidence of like, well, Souček's there, so he's going to clean up. He's going to put in tackles. He's going to be the right role. That's what. You don't feel like when you look at Souček, no one sits there and starts thinking about all the good things he can do in the midfield. You hope he can pop up with a goal. And that's the problem with our midfield. So
this is the thing with Souček. To get the best out of Souček, you have to put someone beside him, because Souček 10 goals is no fucking joke for a midfielder. No joke, especially a team that spent a lot of it down in 17th.
Yeah, and what did he get? 10 goals.
10 goals, yeah.
10 goals. Can you imagine what he'd get if he had better players around him?
Mm.
Just stick him up front, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he's a goal-scoring midfielder. Like, we know, we've seen him do it for the last 5 years, what he can do. He gets important goals. And, I'm not going to be too harsh on Souček because he's probably been one of the standout midfielders out of a poor bunch. But when you look at Soler, Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse come back. His first couple of games, he sort of looked happy to be back playing football again, and then he sort of like filtered out.
Yeah.
Another season without a free kick.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And that could be it. That could be he never scored a free kick. Danny Ings has scored more free kicks for West Ham than Ward-Prowse. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Typical. But I think,
Let's take some of it.
You haven't said who's your most disappointing player of the season.
Oh, my most disappointing. There's a lot I've been disappointed. I'm going to steer away from Paquetá and Kudus because I think they're thinking. The most disappointed I've been in a player this year, I think, is Max Kilman.
Yeah.
I've got to say that because I feel...
One thing I'll defend Kilman with is he's played every minute of every game. And he's had a poor centre-back pairing, whether you put him with Todibo. I think he's been disappointing in spells. He hasn't lived up to what we thought he was going to be. I think he looks unfit all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And Mavropanos is, I don't even know where to start with him.
He will become a professional footballer, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what else I'm going to chuck in as well as disappointing. Areola. I've been disappointed in Areola because, I'm surprised we've let Fabianski go because I'd rather go out and get a top goalkeeper and sell Areola and keep Fabianski.
Well, we're linked to Kelleher, aren't we? Like we're trying. Apparently, we're pushing for Kelleher.
I'm just not even impressed with Areola. I don't think he's as good as what some people say. Like he lets in when you look at that goal against Brighton, their winner, he's just standing the middle of the goal. He shouldn't be beaten from there, and his positioning should be better. And it's been many times like that. And you look at the goal he gave away against Nottingham Forest at home.
Yeah,
trying to play it out from the back.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I don't know what he was, but then when I think about it, what he done, I've also seen saves of the season from him.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. He can pull off world-class saves, but then he does things like that.
Yeah, it is a bit crazy with him. He's been very.
Hillman is a shout for the money, 100 grand a week, 45 mil. It's a shout to say, and he has these excuses, like Ryan said. But I think we just for the money expect him to give us a bit more and to step up. But I think most disappointing signing is Somerville for me, and it's not his fault, injuries. But I was excited by that signing, and I think our season would have been different had he stayed fit all season.
It's nice that he come out and said that, because I think he's been linked with a move away, but he said he wants to stay because he feels disappointed in himself. And it's always hard when a new player comes to a club and they get injured. Look at Fulkrug.
Yeah.
I mean, it was disappointing for him. So there's two players there that if they can get fit during pre-season, they'll feel like new signings.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's two. Yeah, go on. Then.
I was impressed with Fulkrug at the end, and I know he wasn't always 10 out of 10 performances. It wasn't even, sometimes weren't even close. But you could really tell he was putting in the effort. And then he went up in my estimations when he said what he said. Because I know that the manager didn't really appreciate it, and probably maybe it wasn't but sometimes, like, as fans, you want to hear someone say that, someone that gives a shit, because it's so easy to fucking, like, especially with him. He was injured, he was missing for large parts of the season. He's 31, you know what I mean? And I liked what he said when he turned around and said, I ain't here at 31 what did he say? I ain't here at 31. I didn't relocate my family to fucking go back. I'm here to stay. You know what I mean? Like, I like that.
That's another thing, actually. I completely forgot when we were talking about topics. There was talk of that Potter sees him as a second choice striker, someone to come on late in the game. So maybe that's something we can speak about as well. And Todibo being up for sale as well. So that's the two other things I forgot about. We can talk about.
Fucking bought him, but there we go. But I like that from Fulquist. I like players that give effort and seem like they give a shit, because it's so easy to get your Ferrari at the end of the day and just forget about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, it's felt like a lot of players don't give a shit this season.
Right, let's take some comments. Dan, go on, take some comments.
You've only started 37.
Yeah, just take a few from them. I'm just going to grab a drink while you're doing it.
Right. Shout out to Steve, WHU Bell. Big up to you boys and everyone for keeping me sane during the horrendous season. And boys, it's been horrendous. Shout out to Rich. Thanks for a great season, guys and chatters. Better than watching the team a lot of the time. Yep, and that's not saying much. Agents. Best part of the season for me was you guys. Greeting from Mile High Hammers, Denver, Colorado. Cheers, Sri, mate. Thank you very much. Any stuff on the the Chelsea? That is a good shout for like one of the worst losses of the season. That was a painful game.
They ripped us apart, mate. They ripped us apart. No, I'll never forget that game.
Yeah,
I went to 2 home games this season. Chelsea at home and Arsenal at home, so I ain't fucking had much luck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was painful. But yeah, Mavropanos just completely in no man's land, ball over the top, bang. Worst game was Liverpool at home. I don't even remember that game, to be fair, Liverpool at home. I don't remember that at all.
I remember obviously the away games, but they battered us in the cup as well, 5-1. But do you remember that shouldn't have been a 5-1 game?
Oh,
we actually played well in that game, and then they scored like 3 late goals.
Pricks. Don't know what to expect over the summer. Need to improve, or next season we could be in a relegation battle. Having low expectations means we will do better. And then that's it.
That's the good thing about a new season, is it's a reset button, isn't it? But you just got to get it right. You got to get it right in the transfer window.
Hope. I was crying over you, Tony. That's
Kawaii.
Joe says, I think that was to someone else. That was a response to Paul Houston says, I believe Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool want Kudus. Would be happy, you lads, or would you lads be happy to sell, say, get 50 million and a player in a deal? Liverpool manager keen on Kudus may offer Kelleher. Do you know what? Like 15 mil plus Kelleher for Kudus, I'd take that.
What do you reckon Kelleher's worth then? 30? 20?
Yeah, I reckon at least 30. Like, I know he's number 2, but he's got a lot of suitors. He stepped up when Alisson got injured, and he looked really good. We'll see how he could do under the pressure of being a number 1 across the season. But I think there's competition. So, yeah, I think 30 around that is fair. So I'd take 50 plus Kelleher, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fair for him this season.
Yeah. I think he'll go Saudi, Kudus. I think Saudi's going to.
That'd be the best money for us.
Well, they're paying the money. They're paying 100 million for Fernandes, isn't they, from United?
Jesus.
Yeah, Al Hilal. Yeah, 100 million, 200. I think they're 200 million.
700 grand a week, I think.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Did you see the Trent? I know going off, but did you see the Trent Alexander deal today?
Obviously, 10 million.
10 million, but his buyout clause is €1 billion.
Is it?
What the fuck's going to pay that?
point of even putting a buyout clause on him? Like, he's never going to get to the point where someone's going to pay that.
What's the fucking point? What's the point in that?
I think maybe it's just a status. And
basically probably rubbing it in fucking Liverpool's face.
Yeah.
They paid them 10 million so they could play in that World Cup. I wouldn't have even bothered.
Well, no, there's a lot. The thing is, with the Club World Cup, for them, this is their chance to play on a global stage with eyes watching. Like, this is what they want, these Saudi clubs. They want to expand. So if they have a really good showing in the Club World Cup, maybe get to final, maybe even win it, that's huge for them. And the Club World Cup this summer is bigger than any. Like, the prize money is even more. There's more games.
It's £1 billion, isn't it?
I don't know if it's this season they're putting it up to something like that, or next year, or the next one.
Crazy,
but it's a lot of money, and they've upped it. And like I said, it's all the group stages. It's kind of like the World Cup, they have all the different groups.
If you as a club go to the World Cup and you win £1 billion, it's like when you used to do that cheat on Championship Manager right back in the day. Yeah. You used to give yourself like fucking 250 million quid. It's like that.
Well, there are talks about Ronaldo maybe joining Chelsea on a month's contract to play for Chelsea in that Club World Cup because that would be mental.
Yeah, they want Ronaldo in it. They really want Ronaldo in that.
The Saudis have turned on him, apparently.
It's 100 million. Well, the thing is, it adds up. Like, so you get, I think if you win it, you get like 100 mil. But like, so your group stage, you get like 30 mil. Like, once you get to the end, you've made like a shitload of money if you win it because you've gone through all these stages plus the prize money.
If we ever win in it, we'll end up fucking owing them money because we're that shit.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think to like qualify for the club, what you have to have like won like European honors recently. So Man City are in it, Chelsea are in it because it weren't that long ago.
2023.
Yeah, I don't think we can. I think they just count Champions League.
Oh, wow.
I don't think they even count Europa League.
That's why I'm surprised because some team dropped out and there was I think it was one of the Mexican teams might have dropped out, and they were saying about why haven't they invited like Arsenal or Liverpool to join. I can't think of the team now because they had to go into a playoff against another American team or something to go into it. So I think it's just going to be one of them tournaments where they're trying to just get the two biggest clubs into the final.
You can't fucking invite Arsenal to join. They never fucking won nothing.
Yeah,
obviously they're a big brand, didn't they?
Well, then you might as well have Man United in it, right?
Might as well.
Although they wouldn't get out of the group stages. Worst signing is Rodriguez, waste of time. The thing is, I wouldn't put him in the worst signing because he was free transfer. Like, it's like, well, fuck, it didn't work out. Oh well.
Whereas, what was his name? Fucking Ferguson. Is it Ferguson or Armstrong?
Ferguson.
Ferguson, yeah. Like, we didn't even mention him. I suppose it's sort of not his fault now as well. I suppose it's not his fault, is it? Like, but when he's played, he's had a couple of chances, not taking them, and that's what happens.
Mate, he's done nothing. Like, there's not a single, forget goals. There's not a single instance where I can point out something like we did where I was like, oh, brilliant. Oh, that was impressive. Yeah. Like, it's got to be one of the biggest waste of time signings we've ever made. Like,
it's a shame because
we did it.
He's very highly rated, and it's one of them. He could have been another Lingard, which we're going to be talking about in a minute, but it could have been another Lingard, which is arguably, I would say, the best loan signing of all time, and I reckon that might be the worst loan signing of all time.
Yeah, isn't it? Both for us. Rich, £5 super. Thank you, Rich. Best fans in the world. And then this is what Randy says. This transfer window could be absolutely huge because if this transfer window is not a success, is what someone else said, we won't be a Premier League side. So everyone at the club better deliver. Sully, Potter, McCauley. Obviously, Sullivan is Potter's taking it.
I know that he obviously has got his critics, and I understand. But I think Potter, I've got a feeling that he's going to get it right in the transfer window. I think he's going to get a mixture of experience, and he's going to bring in our youth through as well. And I think they're going to have a good balance in that squad. And I think it might take him maybe 2 transfer windows, but I think he's going to get the summer right. And we need we need a good start next season.
As long as he knows.
I'll tell you what, that is a perfect segue into the next section because Jonathan David apparently is very impressed with what he sees with Graham Potter. Apparently, right, there is a source.
They must have took him somewhere
There's
else.
a source.
They definitely did take him to the training ground.
No, but apparently, right, there is a source, and it's not a relative. So we're going to not spend much time on this. So we'll just skip over this one. But apparently, he's met with Potter, and his representatives have met with Potter, and he's very impressed with Potter's outlined plans for the future. So,
Yeah,
what do you think? Bullshit? Can you smell bullshit on this one? I think it's 3 days until the deadline.
I'll be honest. I think Jonathan David is just one of these players that's going to go where the most money is. I think he's just that type of player. I don't think he's going to sort of look. We've got no European football to offer. You know, with these type of caliber of player, he's going to want to play for a top European club or at least someone that's like in the Europa League. Obviously, he wants Champions League, but I don't know. Whatever Potter's told him, and if he signs him, then yeah.
Somebody said mercenary.
Yeah. I think, listen, like I asked you, like when you told me about it, I said, right, who's the source? It was Hammer's Zone, right, who reported on it. And I was like, already my eyes are rolling. And then he said, right, well, look, I said, who have they credited? And you said, iPaper?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is iPaper? And so I think, look, he's obviously a player we're seriously interested in. I just can't see it.
You can't.
Maybe the thing is, like, obviously he wants a bigger move. Like he's holding out. Like his name has been linked with Arsenal and things like that. Chelsea, like, although it just seems that like the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, even Liverpool, even Man United, like a lot of these aren't really making any serious. Like he's not any of their first choices. So there may be an instance where he doesn't get that big move and he goes, okay, he's already on his way to Napoli. All right then. Never mind. But that's what I'm saying. If the move don't materialize, well then we've got a chance. But then we can't sit around and wait for him.
The only way he signs for us is if we give him the most money and we give him we activate a release clause after 1 year that if we're not in Europe, he can move for a release fee that's like not something stupid,
30 mil or something.
Yeah, which I wouldn't want to do because I want someone coming in that is serious about playing for us. Yeah, like the thing is, I'm about like we've had these players like the Kuduses and the Paquetas and things, and it's great. But like I said, when things ain't going our way, they just go missing. We need the Bowen's. Bowen's a player. When it's shit, like he steps up. We need more players like that, and he just strikes me like someone said, mercenary, and that's what he'll be.
The problem is, it's like if I was Jonathan David and I was linked with West Ham, and I'm looking at them, look like they're going to sell Kudus and Paquetá. Do you really want to go there if they're selling their best players? You know, he hasn't obviously probably. I doubt he's watched many of our games this season. He just knows them as what they are as players. So
I wouldn't want him if he's umming and ahhing. I'd like if we've got to go through all these gymnastics to try and sign him, I'd rather not. Like I don't think he's that like amazing that like in one season say he's going to score 20 goals for us. Then
do you know what? Right? If I'm not even joking when I say this, I'm not saying him as a main striker, but someone that can come in. Someone that can replace Danny Ings. He don't want ridiculous money. I'd give Jamie Vardy a year contract. I think Jamie Vardy can still do a job in the Premier League.
He has done a job. That's the thing.
We'd have to play to his strengths. We'd have to change how we've been playing. Like
if it's a free transfer and someone's coming, I know he's 38, and I know people are going to say that, but yeah, just fucking give it to him. Like I would have loved the lap from Ipswich. I think he'd have been perfect for us, but we had no competition when Chelsea come in because they're offering him Champions League football. You know, you can't compete with that. As a young player, you want to go and play in the biggest competitions where you can. We can't offer that, so we've got to be realistic in what we can bring into the football club.
Yeah,
we might even have to drop down a division and try to find another gem or two in the Championship.
Our best player is a gem from the Championship.
Look at Gyökeres, the striker that everyone wants now. We was trying to sign him from the Championship. I think we ended up turning it down.
I mean, with the Antonio situation, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but my advice to Antonio would be retire and go and do punditry because I thought he was brilliant the other night on the telly, and I think that's what he's good at, and I think he's had a good career. There's no point trying to come back now and you get injured again, another horrific injury, and you might never be able to walk again. You don't know. You don't know how bad.
He's a big personality, Mikel.
Yeah, he was brilliant on the telly the other day. He was so like, he's a bit like Colton Cole. You know, that's similar. They're not media trained like Colton Cole is more now, but they're just down to earth. And I thought he was brilliant. You know, when he was interviewing Fornals, you know, it was brilliant to see. And I think that's he'd be next stage of his life. You know, I know he wants footballers. It's always hard to retire, especially when the way he's gone out of the game.
I think we just want a little goodbye thing, you know, even if he comes on at the 88th minute. And
I mean, but if he's umming and ahhing over a contract, then, you know, I think Antonio's got to show a little bit of loyalty to us, because we showed a lot of loyalty to him, especially with his what he went through and that. And if we've offered him a contract,
he's not going to have a load of offers there, really. So, but you know, strikers. Do you know what
I've never seen him going is either somewhere like Palace or Fulham, somewhere like that.
Yeah, I think them moves, but I think now, like, that ship has sailed. Like Palace, obviously, they've got Mateta, they've got Nketiah, you know. Fulham.
Yeah, but Palace are going to be like they was before when they built a good team, man. All of their best players now are starting to talk about moving on. Eze was talking today about winning the Premier League and things like that. You know what I mean? Like Eze's.
Yeah, but like you don't sell Mateta and replace him with Antonio. You do that, you're asking relegation. Like this Antonio, the Antonio who's just barely survived the car crash.
Yeah,
like they're asking to get relegated if they do that. But on strikers, like I'll do this segue. I hinted at Fulkrug, like, and this caused a bit of a stir, funny enough, like, and which I was bemused about, but like it was reported that like Potter sees Fulkrug basically as like a potentially an impact sub type of player, like bring him on late in the game to change things up. And a lot of people was really angry about that. Personally, I don't see how anyone could be angry at that, because if we're trying to go into next season relying on Fulkrug as our main striker, our first choice, I think we're asking for trouble. Like I think he's a good natural striker, right? He hasn't got really a lot of goals this season, but that's not all of his fault. But he hasn't got any pace. His link-up play is good, but we can't rely on him to stay fit. So Potter would be an idiot to go, do you know what? I'm just going to sign. And he's 32 years old. Like we need to start bringing the age down and sign players that are here for the long haul. If you're going to build the team around Fulkrug, and if he's our first choice striker, we're going to have to set the team up to fit Fulkrug, right?
I would argue with this, Dan, right? I would argue with this. If the plan is to get another striker in, and to play him as our first choice, say, for instance, Jonathan David, just throwing a name out there, right? I would say absolutely right? But if the plan is Mikel Antonio's our number one and he's going to be our number two, I would say got it the fucking wrong way round. That's what I would say.
No, like listen, there's no chance he's our number one. Like, absolutely no chance. We're going to sign another striker.
Yeah, we have to sign a young striker, like someone like early 20s, mid 20s, something like that. Someone, it's just like who'd you go and get? Like, we don't know what money we've got. If we've got any money, we don't know. It's just so difficult at the moment. So
this is why we're looking at this data approach with Macaulay and Potter. You know, that's what they're saying. This analysis. And we're looking at
Potter has been working really hard behind the scenes, and working with the scouts and that. So they are eyeing players up. It's just Sullivan's got to back him.
We got to look at profiles of players rather than just names. And I think that's the key of how do we want to play next season? What's our identity going to be? And what profile of striker fits that? And I would like to see us be a much quicker team, especially in transition on the counter, things like that. Have players where we can get balls in behind, over the top, have players play off the shoulder, things like that. And then you bring on a Fulkrug later on in the game that can link up. Maybe he can be our Giroud. You know what I mean? He could be our Giroud type. So, I don't get why people were mad at Potter saying that, and I think he's smart. Why? He's 32 years. He's not going to be here for that many more years, is it? So why set up our team
around him. Yeah, I don't get. I mean, I am quite excited. I'm quite excited to see him coming back. Some of them. I think he was very disappointing, and obviously had that injury. And I think if he started the season, especially under Lopetegui, with a lot of like stutters and starts. So he'd start a game and he'd look really good, and then he'd be out of the team because he's trying to fit in Kudus, he's trying to fit in Paquetá, he's trying to fit in Bowen, all of them guys. And when he got actually a run of games, he started to look really impressive, especially under Potter first game where he got injured. I think he looked really impressive. And I'm looking forward to seeing him and Bowen coming off of someone. Now, that could be Fulkrug. That could be Fulkrug, absolutely, because if you get two good runners around him, we all know what, Bowen can do. But if, Somerville, who was the Championships player of the season, it was last season as we stand now, he scored a lot of goals, and he can score a lot of goals. He's got a lot of pace. So that is exciting. But, yes, we absolutely need more than one approach to the forward line because we cannot go into the season like we have done in the past few years and that's relying on one thing, and that is one striker, such as I know we've had Scamacca and I know we've had Alea, but mostly it's been Mikel Antonio is up top. If he gets injured, we're going to fall back onto Jared Bowen going up top. We can't do that. Can't do that.
And the thing is, like these aren't Potter's players. So if he looks at Fulkrug, who he didn't sign, and sees him as a second choice, an impact sub, well, then we've got to get behind that because we want Potter to play in a way that suits him and to sign players that suits how he wants to play, not try and fit to Fulkrug, who's been here 1 year and probably won't be here for like the next 5 years. So why would we want him to just because we like that he came out and spoke up after the Brighton game? That's what it comes down to.
I think he's going to be one of them ones that like a cult hero.
He's not going to get us 15 goals this next season.
Talk about players that may not be here. What did you make of Paquetá and Kudus' end to the season against Ipswich? We haven't really spoken about it since the Ipswich game because, to be honest with you, I was quite happy to get Ipswich over and done with. It was a good win. But there was a couple of things I noted. I was there, obviously. Kudus was very muted in his celebration.
I'll be honest, I understand that. What's he got to celebrate for? Season. He's not. If he runs and grabs his little seat and sits on it, people are going to think, "What are you doing, mate?" It's like last game. Like, what are you going to celebrate about? So he's probably frustrated with himself. He knows he hasn't been as good this season. So I sort of understand the muted celebrations. Like, some players they want to run over and take their shirt off and act like they've won the World Cup. Some players, it just comes down to frustration and poor season. So I do understand it.
Yeah. I think like a lot of times people will read into what they want to read into. Look, they probably don't know. Like Paquetá don't know if he's going to still be able to play football next season. Like Kudus, he probably don't know. Kudus done a post, like an Instagram post, saying back next season, better, bigger, and better and stronger. And I don't read that as in he's definitely staying. The way I don't read his body language, say he's definitely leaving. Like I just think we have to wait and see. I think if Saudi come in for him, we'll probably take it if they offer the big money, and it's just a question of will he want to go to Saudi and make all that money. So we'll see. But yeah, and then you got Todibo, which is another one, which is mad. He could be made available for sale, 36 million. This is another player. I think there's a talent in there, and I see it, and I don't know if I'm the only fucker that noticed this in the Ipswich game. Like, he fucking chased back, put a fucking tackle in, won the ball, and started an attack. And I remember seeing it going, yes, go on.
Dan, I agree with you, mate. I think there is a good player in him. I really think they do. Sometimes I've watched him this season, and he reminds me so much of like Rio when Rio first started coming through. Just his mannerisms, the way he acts. He don't look like he's got pace, but then he'll have a burst of pace. And I think he's got that in him, but he just needs better players around him. I think if he's got a comfortable back four, he needs a good centre back. Like with Max, I think I agree with what you said earlier about Max Kilman. Sort of, he's been obviously in the team. He hasn't missed a game, I don't think. But yeah, he's not been that great. But it's the same for him. It's what he's had next to him.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and there is. I agree with Ryan as well. I have seen bits of Rio in him. I do think he's looked unfit for a lot of the season. When he first came here, he was massively overweight, which was, is a worry. But there is a player there. And when he got that, he made that tackle and he started that attack, and then he started to think to himself, if you can get someone doing that often. But I think what the problem is, and I think this has always been a problem this season, is that I don't think he fucking trusts the people at the back. And he's been just as bad. They've all been as bad.
He was awful for their goal, to be fair. I don't know what, it's like he was expecting either a shot, and he's done the thing where you turn your knee in and then you put your hands by his side like to block.
No, the goal was and that really, that really summed up our season. But when you got the likes of Kilman, who hasn't, for me, he hasn't been good at all. He's had good spells, but then he's been poor. He's given away a lot of goals. And then you've got fucking Mavropanos. You might as well have your fucking Nan playing in defence. I think the more solid we looked is when Cresswell came in, and now Cresswell's gone. So we need to be bringing back. Listen, we've talked about Ed coming back. Apparently, he doesn't want to come back and all that sort of thing. But I think that would be crazy to put him up for sale. I would sell anyone over him because I think he deserves one more chance.
Yeah, the problem is his fitness. There was people was complaining that Potter was subbing him off, right, for like in the 75th, 80th minute for Mavropanos, right? I looked at him in that Ipswich game, and it was like towards the end of the first half, he looked fucked.
Blowing out his arse, yeah.
He was blowing out of his arse, and I'm like, geez, like how unfit is he? And that's what I'm saying. So when Potter obviously sees something and realizes this guy can't play 90 minutes, and there is no reason why towards this stage of the season your fitness ain't up to scratch.
Maybe
there's something there.
Maybe he's been carrying an injury all season. He started off injured, didn't he?
These players just need a fucking hard pre-season.
Yeah.
They need to go 2 weeks without even touching the ball. They need to run. They need to get their fitness levels up because, like you said, most of these players have looked unfit and sluggish all season. So,
but barring Bowen and a few of the youngsters and maybe Wan-Bissaka, anyone that Potter wants rid of, I'm behind it. Like, I'll go for it. If they fit into your plans and we can get decent money.
I totally agree. But then the onus is fully on him then. You know what I mean? There's no excuses.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the idea is we all said this ain't his team. Go out and get your team. As long as he's backed with funds and he can replace these players, go out and get your team because I don't want excuses of, well, he didn't sign Todibo and Todibo's shit again and not fit this season. Well, he didn't sign, fucking Fulkrug and Fulkrug relying on him. He scored 2 goals. Like, I want to have a bit of accountability.
El Chico says, sorry.
No.
He said Danny barely played from August to Jan. Lot didn't like him. No excuses. You were right, but also didn't have a pre-season. So hopefully next year. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him because, as I said before, he got caught in one of them things where he wasn't with his old club, and he was sort of like doing and throwing between us and Juventus. And he ended up.
Let's not forget he chinned or tried to chin Lopetegui as well.
Yeah,
and I see on TalkSport they was talking about why Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle went in for Gay. Gay fell through, and I think they were going to go and get Todibo. Paul Mitchell, the director of football, who's just left Newcastle, said like he wanted Todibo. Eddie Howe put a stop to it because they'd done their own research and found out they didn't like his attitude. So there's something there. Hopefully, again, like if Potter wants to keep him, great. If he don't, then I'm against it. I tell you what's good news. I just see this. Cole McCauley apparently wants to recruit players this summer without the aid of football agents. Never before have we seen the time at West Ham where we could possibly be recruiting players without the aid of football agents, like David Sullivan.
Don't worry, David Sullivan will be turning in his little office.
Sullivan, that probably nearly finished him off. He probably nearly had a heart attack. What? Fucking hell, sort out. I'm sorry, mate. We can't use you this summer. I mean, that's music to my ears. I don't know about you.
Let's go on to a bit of positive because we've got a Fabrizio Romano this early in the season. Let's go. Done deal.
Here we go.
Sorry, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Here we go.
See you later. Let's go.
We got to let's go.
I fucked that up. I fucked that right up. We got it here.
Bye.
We've got here we go. Daniel Cummins has come to the club. Apparently, McAvenny is very, very upset about Celtic letting go. Obviously, he's got mixed allegiances because he is obviously a Celtic legend. Let's go. A Celtic legend, and he's obviously a West Ham legend. So he's happy for us, but he's saying like this kid's the real deal. You know. Do you reckon he would play?
Probably
He
not.
doesn't play for Celtic.
I think he made his competitive debut against Villa in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Like he's been playing for Celtic
B.
under 23s or B, whatever it is. Yeah, look, he's not going to be in the first team, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't really know what to make of it because I don't really know much about him. I know he scored like 30 goals in some game for Celtic B, but fucking hell, we'd probably score fucking 30 goals for Celtic B. I'm not taking it away from him. He might be I see the tweet by McAvenny, and you know, so look, he's obviously seen him a lot more than what I have. So I'm not going to slate the kid because I hope he does come in and have a good career at West Ham, and he might be a find, you know, because we had to pay 500 grand compensation or something like that, haven't we?
Yeah. Let's be honest. This was a deal that was pretty much done back in January. I remember hearing about this deal in January. So I believe this could be the first Potter Macaulay signing, like the first player that they identified. And he is highly rated. They do see a talent in there. Despite him playing, like Rodgers was fuming about it. Like Rodgers, obviously, which is weird because he didn't play him in the first team, but he clearly saw the talent. Probably part of the reason why he didn't end up coming into the first team at this age was him not signing a new deal. You know, that was probably the incentive. Sign the deal, you know, and then I think he would have got an opportunity. And the fact that they've lost him, and I've seen Celtic fans, all Celtic fans are like, why do we getting rid of our best players, most promising, exciting players? So there's a lot of talent there that people are excited by.
Right.
It's going to be if he can translate to the Premier League. Now, I imagine with this new data-driven approach, they have the data there, they've analysed it to see his attributes and say, yeah, he will fit the Premier League. He has what it takes. So whether we see him, I think he could be in and around, like say Antonio's gone, or just, you know, like has a sentimental deal. If we've got Fulkrug, we've got what should be our new first choice striker, and you have Cummins as a third choice. There's opportunities for him to play. Like Fulkrug won't stay, I promise you, touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, will not stay fit for the whole season. He's going to have opportunities to get minutes, that's for sure. But he's obviously not going to be, you know, a big focal point. So listen, we'll see. 500 grand in the grand scheme of things, if it don't work out, maybe we turn him into a £2 million player. You could turn a profit on that. You know,
he's going to end up being one of them players that Scott all of a sudden fucking hangs his hat on, like fucking Diego Poyet.
But I remember like I can't remember his name now, but it was years ago. We signed that Irish striker, and everyone was the same. He's going to be the next best thing. But he never made a first team appearance. We loaned him. I can't remember his name now.
Do you remember Okoflex?
Okoflex, yeah.
Okoflex.
Do you remember who was the centre back, the Scottish centre back?
The one that we loaned out to. Oh fuck it! Yeah,
or was he Canadian and he went?
No, he was Canadian. Yeah, he was Canadian.
Yeah, you're thinking of Henry. That's
it. Yeah, Henry.
Yeah.
Sean Maguire. That's the one.
Yeah,
I remember when we signed him, and it was the same thing. But yeah, look, good luck to him. You know.
Yeah, go on, mate. No, I just think if we're smart, even if these players don't come and be a hit, like we want to start to look at what the other clubs are doing. Top clubs, it's like, okay, you bring a player in, maybe they're not good enough for the first team, but you improve them enough where you can flip them for a profit, and they become a really good championship player. And the championship club pays you 5 million, 10 million for him, but he's good, so he's good enough for there. But so maybe there's that. Like at least then it's not a massive. If we'd gone and spent like what we did with Guilherme and we slapped down 25 mil and we're like thinking that's a big risk, then I'd be worried. Otherwise, I'm not going to get hyped. But if it don't work out, it's 500 grand in football terms.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said earlier, like, I'm looking forward to Potter working with the youngsters that we've got that are ready to step up. when we spoke about it at the event the other week. I mean, Freddie Potts for me is ready for the first team, ready to come in. I think when you want legs in midfield, I think I said it a couple of seasons ago when I first really started watching him, is that he's got the looks of him of like what Declan Rice did when he first come into our midfield. You know, he's got the same stature. You know, he went on loan to Wickham, got Player of the Season. Last season he went on loan to Portsmouth, he got Player of the Season. So I just think a good pre-season, get a couple of experienced players around him. I think he could be a stay in the first team without a doubt.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. Ryan mentioned the event now. We have got a video coming up next week of Jimmy Walker and Paul Konchesky at an evening at the Brewdog. So I'm working on that at the moment. But yeah, keep an eye out for that next week.
It was interesting as well. I know like what Konchesky said in the event about Ollie Scholes. He doesn't see him as a left back.
Yeah,
he's not a left back. He's more of an attacking left-sided midfielder, or even as a centre mid. So obviously they see more of what we do when they play in the youth and that. So it could be interesting, you know.
That makes sense from watching him. That makes sense. I see.
Yeah, like Potter, could see something in these players, and we know over the past 5-6 years, our youth teams have been smashing it at all levels, winning the Youth Cup. You know, under 23s. You know, so some of them are ready. You know, you've got Callum Marshall who's been out on loan. Will he get a chance? Casey, you know, there's loads of players down there that can, you know, you want to see get a chance, and pre-season might be the chance, because we've got that tournament in America with, is it Palace and Wolves and Man United. So fuck, you know, that's gonna. I bet the Americans are buzzing for that fucking tournament, isn't they?
This is it, right?
Tournament.
Oh yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's it's the good thing is with Potter, like, look, he's coming in the middle of a season where we're really shit. First, he wants to stabilise us, stop us leaking goals, not worry about relegation, and then just try and win games and keep pressure off. But in the summer, in pre-season, he has now a chance, no pressure off. Like, let me have a proper look at these youngsters. Let me see how they fit in the team. Right. So now we get to really see what he can do. He wants to play youth. He said it.
Yeah.
So
someone just said there about Earthy as well. We had a good season at Bristol. You know, obviously just lost it out in the playoffs. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, it's going to be interesting what Potter's going to do. And I know, so in a weird way, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next 6-8 weeks. You know, it's going to be. I just hope that we don't. I don't think Potter's going to be that type of manager that's going to want to leave it to the last fucking day of the transfer window.
No, I think, he knows there's a lot of work to do. Just before we start to end up, then there was a bit of news broke this week. Dan just told me before we went on air, actually, Jesse Lingard won. There's our old mate. I think, as I said, I think it would win votes as well. Probably the best loan signing in the Premier League history. I can't think of another loan signing that's had as much of an impact as Jesse Lingard had at West Ham.
Yeah, because even Bowen didn't straight away, to be fair, because he was only with a loan, January, I think, a January sign.
Yeah, he was a January sign. But on loan, I don't think there's been a bigger one. Apparently, he wanted to join us, right? And he's turned out and said, "Go on, right."
Let me read it. He said the Forest deal, when we were going through that, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but I wasn't in control of anything at the time. I basically didn't have a choice. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what offer was on the table from West Ham and what was on offer from Forest. There was a place I'd have preferred to go, but people have their own say. And at the time, I didn't really feel like I could voice my opinion. Now I can see people didn't have my best interests at heart.
Yeah, look, I totally understand, but for me, he makes the final decision. If he wants to go West Ham, he don't care what anyone else says. He goes, I want to go West Ham. Sack his agent, whether it's his brother, his nan, whoever. Sack him. You know, I want to play. If he wanted to go to West Ham that much, he'd have turned around and said, I'm going West Ham. Yeah. So I don't buy all that. I think he's just trying to get a little bit of reputation back or whatever. But I don't.
The thing is, why that don't wash, and I tweeted it out, is afterwards he signed. He done like an Instagram story post or something, and he said about going where you're loved, or something. Basically, alluded to the fact that we didn't show him we loved him enough. And I translated it as they didn't offer me enough money. Like, and that's why he went to Forest. And now he's realised how much he fucked up. Like, what a colossal mistake. Like, because he was...
Look where he is now. How old is he? 29?
He's got to be 29, 32 or something. Like,
so
29, 32.
So he's 32. How long has he been out in wherever he is?
2 years.
2 years. So his career, like, he had obviously a great career at Man United. And I always get the decision of him going back to Man United because obviously he's a Manchester boy. He wanted to succeed at United. He went back after a good season with us, trying to get back in the United squad. Then he realised they wanted to sell him. He should have come back to us. He knows that decision. It was probably the worst decision he's ever made because his career, when he was at a high, he got back in the England squad with us. He scored, what was it, 9 goals and them assists. He was unplayable at times for us. I remember that game, Wolves away, when he just run it the whole length of the pitch. Yeah. Like, and he had everything. And then he chose money over trying to build something at West Ham.
That's the thing. The thing that didn't wash with me, and I'll say this forever, right? I had running with his brother, funny enough. His brother is wasn't a very nice fella. You know what I mean? But you know, I'd done some sort of video about him coming back, and he was telling me I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, and you know, I was a clown and all that sort of thing. So yeah, like obviously there's his brother's obviously a big influence, and his brother's obviously got a lot to fucking say for himself. But yeah, the thing that didn't wash with me, right, is, and I've heard this from the inside of the club. Apparently, he thought he was a bit bigger than West Ham. Yeah, and I understand that. Look, you come from, you know, he was England player and all that sort of, lost his way a little bit at Man United, come to us, and he thought that, and I've always said this was bigger than this, right? And I said that there, and that did not wash for me. That did not wash for me at all. Apparently, like, he thought he was a little bit bigger than West Ham, a little bit, you know, too prestigious for him to come to us full time. He went back to Man United, which again, you know, I respect. There was some other issues as well, which I won't think because I know it's a legal thing. But apparently he wasn't, you know, he didn't. But the thing that didn't wash for me is that he knew that we wanted him back, right? Saying about where he wasn't loved, we fucking loved him. Everybody here loved him. He would have shown more love here than I think he was ever shown.
The problem
means that. He means that. That's how we
Lingard had with the loving thing is that he never done it in front of fans, so he wouldn't have known. We're all at home, fucking loving it, but he never see that.
No. He's right. He's chronically online. He knows, like,
no. I mean, he'll know the loving of people, what people say online, but you footballers won't. There's a difference between getting a loving online and getting loving in a football stadium, and you get 65,000 fans like chanting your name and celebrating. If he would have felt that, if fans would have been around, then I think he would have 100% come back to us.
No, the thing is, I think it comes down to first season he went back to Man United because he wanted to play with Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo was back. He thought there was a big project happening. He thought, right, I want to be part of that. He fucking ended up scoring against us at home, Man United. And then we waited a whole season after that to sign. We waited a whole season. We finally, okay, right, you're going to leave Man United. We want to sign you. I think he was on a free contract when he was a free signing.
Yeah,
he was out of contract. Right now, we're the club. We've been waiting for this. All of a sudden, Forest come into the equation. I think they'd just been promoted. And then he goes because of money. Like, so it's nothing to do with like fans or not showing knowing he's loved by fans. It's money. When he said love, he doesn't mean fans. He means the club.
The club.
Yeah, because if we really loved him, we would have paid.
Didn't he also do a cryptic post on his Instagram, which made it look like he was flying to London or something?
Yeah. And that's another thing. He had us on strings all the way. He was posting these little pictures where there would be like crossed hammers in the fucking corner. And like, maybe it was totally by accident, but it happened more than once. It was things like that, and it was like he was. I mean, the kid's a social media fucking addict. Let's be honest. I mean, some of the fucking shit that he's done at 30 years old is fucking cringy, to be honest with you. Even more cringy than me at 40. You know what I mean? Like, and what he was. The thing is, he wanted to balance his thing, and I think, when you're in that zone, I think you're always going to be attracted by the money. You know what I mean? Because he knows that, he's coming towards the 30s, and I think he got into one of them points where he forgot about what the reason why he's on top of the world is because he was a fucking pretty decent footballer, and he forgot about the football, and he thought he could, the brand he built, he's going to carry past football. It's never going to do that, and I think that's what it was all about.
I see a Forest fan call him an expensive cheerleader, and that sums it up. And he would have come here, he would have been part of our European campaigns. He would have won a trophy with us. Who knows? We could have maybe won the Europa League with him. You never know.
Then again, we might not have won a European trophy because we might not have got some of them signings in if Lingard would have.
Yeah, we might not have got Ben Rama, who ended up scoring a penalty. But I think he suited Moyes. He suited how he was playing, and he just goes to Forest to be a bunch of a load of names, and he just seemed like he weren't motivated by it because it was money. He weren't.
I just think that I know Moyes obviously got his critics and that, and rightly so. But I felt sorry for him because it was agreed. He shook Moyes' hand. He said that he was going to sign, and that's why Moyes fucking was fuming when it didn't happen. So, but look, he's gone on. It's a bit like Ravel Morrison, same sort of thing. All the talent, wrong people around you. You listen to the wrong people, and look at Ravel Morrison now. He's like,
and then they was together. Yeah, sorry. So that's what I'm saying. Like now you end up regretting it, and it's the same with Morrison. He probably wishes he applied himself at West Ham more because he said that was his best time. His happiest time at football was playing for us, and same as Lingard. It was one of his. I know he's had good times, but he was so much great form. He looked like he was enjoying himself.
You look at Lingard. He come in as a like a big player from Man United, coming on loan. First day at the training ground, Noble gives him a lift. First thing he says, "Put your phone away. We don't have phones. We talk." And he couldn't really understand that. And then when you look at some of the Instagram videos, do you remember the one when it was Noble's birthday and they were all chucking flour over him, and they all had that, him, Rice, everyone, they was just so connected, and it was such a good squad at that time, the dressing room. That's why I think we done so well in that period and had a good end to the season, because we had the lockdown, didn't we? And there was that break, and then we come back, and we just
Yeah, we built a team that was fucking brilliant on the counter attack, was rapid, and we devolved it into just a really slow team that we have today. Like it's crazy.
We was a fucking good football team at that time.
We've gone from a team of fucking midfielder Ferraris to a couple of fucking Boris bikes with punchers, and that's being generous.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Should we start wrapping up then?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've been starring a load of super chats, but you ain't.
I'll read
normal chats. Sorry.
I'll read out these star chats before we go. Can't call him Max, Nick. He only answers to Maximilian. Maximilian Kilman is a name and a half, and it sounds like something from fucking Gladiator. In terms of the loan signings, Ferguson or Zaza was the worst.
Oh, that's.
I think Ferguson, at least fucking Zaza.
Did we loan Zaza?
Yeah, we sent him back.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, Zaza.
Kudus has rejected Saudi, apparently. Mr. Steady Hand says, just tuned in. Not sure if it's already been said, but tomorrow is the first weekend without footy. And for the first time, I'm not really gutted. That says a lot. Terrible, awful season for us. I totally agree, mate. I can't wait to have a break this weekend. I really can't. Chris Nick says Forest basically give him a blank check. I reckon he did want West Ham. £250,000 a week turns anyone's head. That's crazy, isn't it? That Forest paid £250,000 a fucking week. That's true. That Lingard article stinks, says Ginger Carroll. At the end of the day, he has the last say. He wanted more money and now realises he would have been better at us. Yeah. And Ginger Carroll. Nottingham Forest is closer to Manchester, so that suits him with his family. Plus, Nottingham Forest had the money and they ultimately offered him £180,000 a week. So he snubbed us and then lost interest and not played there since. Regrets. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Champions League tomorrow.
Champions League final. Who do you fancy?
I think everything that's happened this season, PSG, like the stories are there, like all the underdogs are winning. They've looked very good. Inter Milan are a brilliant side, but
Milan.
Yeah, well, the thing is with Inter Milan, what I like about them is they've got no superstars. They're just a hard-working team. And PSG got rid of all their superstars and they become a better team. So I reckon it's going to be a good final tomorrow. I think it could be a high-scoring game.
Do you know what?
3-2, 4-3.
I have never been so entertained by games than the two I watched with them in Barcelona. I honestly, they were fucking fantastic.
Inter Milan have got a superstar, Marko Arnautovic. He's a superstar, isn't he?
He still plays for them.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah,
I mean, Italian football's a bit mad. Man, Napoli won. I mean, Scott McTominay is fucking. We didn't want him. We didn't want him, but he's gone out there and become like the best player in Italy. And
the thing is,
all day.
Yeah, but he didn't want to come to us. That's what people forget. He didn't want to come to West Ham. I mean, look, he fucking turned out to make the right choice, didn't he? Went Napoli. He didn't want to come.
Don't really watch. I don't think I've watched Italian football since it used to be on Channel 4 on Sundays. But it was on last week when I was out, and I see that they had the Napoli game on because it was them and Inter Milan, wasn't it? And Napoli won, and it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it went down to the last game of the season.
It was fantastic. But when you last word on Man United, right? When you look at what they've let go to what they have, you know, Anthony's fucking tearing it up at Betis. You got McTominay, you got Rashford that done well for fucking Villa.
Just quickly, mate, on that Conference League final the other night, I can't believe that the two, like Betis, like the first half they were unreal. They were brilliant. They should have been 2 or 3 out. Second half they come out and they were shit.
The thing is, I looked at it when I was watching that. I thought they're brilliant, but I just had a feeling like they weren't gonna be able to keep that up for 90 minutes.
No,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's when they missed that couple of chances. If they'd have gone 2-0 up, I think they probably would have seen it out.
Out of fucking sight. They had about 3 or 4-0 up.
Yeah, they had some great chances, and I was gutted for 4 hours. I'd love to see them with, but I saw how they was playing, right, and I put Twitter going like, "Fuck, this is night and day between how we played under Pellegrini." Then everyone said second half that was more like
the second half coming. I thought, oh yeah, that's a
there we go.
Pellegrini is.
There he is.
That's what everyone was saying. Yeah, because I mean, like the Pellegrini football.
It was like a West Ham loving that because you obviously had Pellegrini, you had the Chelsea manager who's obviously an assistant manager under Pellegrini for us. Yeah. You had Fornals, Adrian in goal, he's still shit.
Oh mate, he pissed me off.
That first goal.
Yeah. Right. Well, and the I think it was the second goal as well.
It might have been the second one I'm thinking about.
We had Antonio and Joe Cole on the pundits. It was like fucking.
I couldn't believe that Adrian was starting. I couldn't believe it.
Mate, I thought he retired about 3 years ago.
So he should have. Listen, he got that Premier League medal, right? And the other trophies at Liverpool, he should have went out like that.
Yeah.
Like he nearly got another trophy, but that goalkeeping, he did not even try to dive for the ball.
No, mate. The best goalkeeping job in the world, mate, is Scott Carson's. Look at all the medals he's won over the last fucking 6 or 7 years at City.
Mate, how did he look at them though and go, "Yeah, I'm proud of that"? Like he can't.
Mate, he's earning a fucking good living, and he's just sitting around doing fuck all.
That's what I'm saying. See the medals. If I'm him, like I just keep them in a drawer. Like you have to be shameless to put them on your wall and go.
Look what I want. Dan, I won't be shameless. I'll be wearing them to shopping, mate, round my neck.
Yeah, Champions League winner, Premier League trebles.
Here we go.
He's having a laugh, mate. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Are you guys going to watch the Club World Cup over the summer?
Yeah, probably.
It's usually in the winter, isn't it? And it's usually a smaller tournament.
Yeah. I think I'm going to watch it.
It's the first time that it's like a big summer type of tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, are we because it's the World Cup? We're rooting for the English teams.
No.
Is it Chelsea and Liverpool?
Chelsea and Liverpool, yeah. I don't. Liverpool, Chelsea, not so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about. Oh fuck it! Oh, do you know what? It's upstairs. I can't bother to get it. I'll have to show you it next time. My fucking shirt I got from Mexico. I love it.
You should be rooting for Mexico.
It's got a Mexico shirt. It's got Alvarez on the back, but the number 4 is like a Day of the Dead. It's like a limited edition shirt. I fucking love it.
Yeah, show us it next time, man.
Yeah, that's how you root for. You can cheer on Mexico in the. Just seeing what the tables are. Who's in it?
Tequila.
Yeah, PSG. Look, they're playing tomorrow, and then they've got to go and play in this Club World Cup. The Seattle Sounders. Oh my god!
Come on, the Sound.
He's into Miami in it as well.
I don't, because there should be 2 American teams in it.
I thought they would have definitely had them in there because of obviously Messi and fucking Suarez and.
Yeah, you think they would? I can't see Inter Miami.
Their manager still Mascherano.
Oh yeah, no, Inter Miami are in it. Yeah, Inter Miami are in Group A with. They're in Porto, Palmeiras, and Al Ahly, and Inter Miami have a chance of actually going through.
Do you think this is just turning out to? I know we've talked about this, but do you think this is just turning out to be a bit of a fucking joke tournament? No, it's all. I've never took it seriously anyway. But
the thing is,
there now, don't they?
It's only a joke if the teams don't take it seriously. Like if the teams, like if there's big prize money, that with FFP and PSR, that has a chance to transform clubs' summers, like their seasons can kick on. You win that, you get 100 million on top of all the other money from winning the group. That's your fucking transfer window sorted. Like just from one tournament, no sales, TV money,
and you want to be the first winners of it.
Yeah, because look, they've had Club World Cups before, but not this format. It's always been small in the winter. This is the time, because usually it's mixed up with football. Like there's no football. Everyone's going to be watching this. There's nothing else to watch. So I think it's going to be a big one this season, and we're going to see some big games. And I like the fact that, unlike the Champions League, this is international. We get to see all these teams that are in these other leagues, how they stack up against the European teams. And it'll be so interesting if, like, a South American team or Americas or an Asian team, how far they go.
Man, that though, Suarez is looking rough lately. Someone put a video of him the other day. He was chasing the ball and he just give up halfway.
I saw that.
He just spun round and thought, "Fuck
it."
Messi's still banging in free kicks all over the place. Like, fucking, is Mascherano still their manager?
What, in Miami?
Yeah. Because it was Phil Neville and he got sacked.
Yeah, it was mate.
Yeah, Javier Mascherano. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to go to Miami. Fuck it.
What, to win it? Are you just going to support them, or do you think they're going to win it? Oh yeah, you're just going to back them.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for the Urawa Reds. That was when I went to Japan. My mate Billy, West Ham fan. His name isn't Billy, but he's a Japanese guy. He's given himself the name Billy. He's a Urawa Ultra. So he put that team onto me. So I'm going to support it's so hard to say that Urawa Reds from Japan. Anyone takes your fancy, right? Who is the
Mexican team, isn't it? Who's
the Mexican team? Is it who's Mameladi's Sundown? Is that that's South African team. Mumalami Sundown. I don't know who the Mexican team are in there.
You know what? I don't know if they actually. I think they might not have qualified, because I think that there was a Mexican team in it originally, and they got chucked out.
Yeah.
Then another Mexican team had to play someone else to qualify, so they might have done it. Might not have gone through.
Right. Yeah, you've got El Tunis. That sounds a bit Mexican. Or is that Spanish? What is that? They're in the CAF. Tunisia. Oh, fucking hell. Tunisian professional team. So Boca Juniors, Auckland. Shout out to the Aussies. Hey, Auckland are in there.
What's the Aussies?
Bayern Munich are in it. Fucking Kane could have 2 trophies in a season.
It really is. Fluminense from Brazil. Al Nassr. It really is a Club World Cup.
Yeah, that's it. I've been thinking about this for years, like what it'd be like if, and I always thought like
would ever be in it.
Nah, and never. Because I think,
I think we will be in it, right? If everyone goes to it this time, it's a fucking joke and it's a farce. And then the big clubs go, do you know what? I'm not fucking going to that.
You know when I said that, it reminded me of that time. Do you remember when that bloke said, do you reckon Steve Lomas to get in the Real Madrid team? But he was serious.
He went over to his mate. Look, Lomas, bless Lomas. He was on his
Auckland is in New Zealand. Oh, so do you know what he is? Yeah, oh, fuck's sake. I've really pissed off the Aussies and New Zealanders.
Auckland, and they all think fucking Scotland's in England, so fuck them.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, that's like getting our own back.
Yeah, Auckland's just fuck is all.
Who's the Aussie team in this then? I don't see it. Don't tell me Aussie's not there.
Someone's put one the hashtag ain't in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That'll be the next thing. They'll turn it into a fucking YouTubers tournament in 2 years' time.
Have you been watching? We've said goodbye. Have you been watching Baller League?
No.
Nah, I'm not interested.
I see a video when Ian Wright nearly chinned someone.
I've not watched it at all, but it keeps on popping up on my feed. It ain't as big as I thought it would be. It's broadcast on Sky Sports every fucking week.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. It's just this fucking all these YouTube. I mean, who's that? What's his name? Fucking Rory. Fucking what's his name?
Rory
Jennings, in it.
Oh yeah,
I see his thing that he's been having with James Maddison, and I'm like, mate, like I listen to him sometimes. And I do respect what he says, but sometimes I listen to him and think, mate, just shut up. Like
I do love Rory, but he does come out with some bollocks.
Yeah, he said Haaland would flop.
Yeah. The way he goes on, like it's just the way Maddison like tweeted him and said, "What's a Chelsea Rory?" Like I don't know, mate. It's fucking mad.
Yeah,
that sounds like a mascot. Their lion would be called Rory, wouldn't it? Surely.
Rory roars.
I just don't get it. Like he's complaining about Maddison celebrating on the pitch and he tried to say that Maddison was making it all about himself, and I'm thinking, how was he? He's being interviewed on the fucking telly. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
There was that thing where he was piping up against because Simon Jordan said like, "Oh, you ain't gonna win a trophy with James Maddison or something," and James Maddison was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Well, to be fair, like you weren't even playing, mate." Like,
yeah.
Like you was injured, so that's not really the time to do that. See, we won a trophy with me.
I saw the one where he was on the overlap and he got fucking schooled by that girl. I can't remember her name now. And she said that about Salah. He said that about Salah, and fucking she come up with some stat about Salah.
Salah and David Beckham, wasn't it?
Yeah, Salah and Beckham, that was it. And he just sat there and he looked like his fucking old world had fell through his arse. Honestly,
I think obviously sometimes they just say things for reaction because obviously,
he runs agendas, doesn't he? He'll say something mad.
Yeah, and he'll just run it. And I think it was Neve. And Neve just fucking put him in his pants, just sat there, just looking at his face.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it sometimes when I watch the overlap, the fans one, and like he's talking, and like some of the people on there, and they're talking, and I just look at Scholes, Carragher, Neville, and I just look at their faces, and they're thinking like, "The fuck are you talking about, mate?"
I was on the first ever overlap, the first fans one. They never got me back. There is a long story about that. I'll tell it one day, but it is a bit sad. But I was on the first ever one, and I'm going to stick up for something about this, right? I remember Ty saying to them, and I know Ty's Ty, but he said to Carragher, "We're going to be challenging for the league," and they was laughing at him. They was laughing their fucking bollocks off at him, and he was so adamant, "We're going to be challenging." You got to give him that. They've been challenging.
Yeah, but even a broken clock is right twice a day.
It
doesn't say out of any sort of like analysis. It's just
there's no who's
going to win the quadruple
or reason.
That's like me saying West Ham are going to be challenging, and in 40 years' time they challenge it, and I go, "See, I told you."
That's exactly why. That's exactly what happened. Roy King was disgusted.
Yeah. They had a West Ham fan on there the other day. Never seen him. I don't know if he was an influencer or what. I don't know. He looked like he just dragged him out somewhere and put a West Ham shirt on him.
They've had Thomas Gilmore on there once. I think Russ has been on there. I'm pretty sure Russ is on there.
Yeah,
I don't watch it. I don't like the format of it. I think it's crap, and they don't focus on. There's no point having West Ham. Villa,
it's very top six bias.
So is everything.
But don't say what's the point? You know what I mean? You're taking them people, taking them all the way there to sit there and talk about West Ham for like 2 minutes, and then we move on and just wank over the fucking same 6 teams. And I've said this last week: the top 6 is dead. There's no such thing as the top 6.
They done it a couple of weeks ago. They had an Ipswich fan on there, and they asked her a question, and she spoke. She literally just started talking, and they just cut her off and started talking about fucking Liverpool or something like that.
Yeah. It's just I don't get what people are entertained by it.
That's why I prefer watching the overlap without the fans, like with King,
the podcast,
because they do talk about Like they do focus on every team on there. Like
if I want to watch like ex-pros talk, I'll watch ex-pros. If I want to watch YouTube people talk, I'll watch YouTube people. As a mix, it doesn't mesh well. It's a clash. Like fans
especially when you've got ex-players that have done it sitting in the room and you're like, they're trying to like talk over them, and I'm just like, mate,
trying to teach them how to suck eggs.
Trying to tell them what about the game and that. Yeah, look, you can have an opinion on the game, but don't players that have done it and like don't.
I do think there's two different types of opinion, and I do think we give an opinion from one side and they give an opinion from another side. Which you know, you got to say mostly they would be right in terms of like the playing aspect of it. They know, we don't fucking know. We've never fucking played a day in our life. But there is other times when I think that the fans' opinion goes more because we pay to watch it and they just watch it because they're fucking told to watch it.
Yeah, and this is the thing with them again. They care about 16.
They only care about watching the big boys. You know?
So when it comes to clubs like us, their opinions hold less weight because they don't watch us enough.
They don't know.
They watch the same 16. Alex Dove, where have you been, mate? What's your favourite West Ham? Rewind it back to the start. We did talk about it, mate. But yeah, mate. So listen, I'm glad we aren't a part of overlap. I don't know if it's paid or not, but listen, I don't enjoy it as a show. If you see me on there, just know I was paid, okay? Because I won't go for free.
Let's wrap it up then. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan, the final edition for this season of West Ham Fan TV. That mean it's going to stop. I'm just saying it's the final one from this season, reviewing the games. But there we go. From a Friday Night Pint, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us all season. Thank you very much to the boys. Thank you very much for everyone who's come on the show.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. I think that's a good way to finish, right?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Gone.